Yo, it's about that time again. These are all the products that make up my daily EDC as a software engineer. Nothing more, nothing less. First off, the iPhone 17 Pro Max launched last week and has of course made its way into my everyday carry. This is the first year I actually bought multiple phones to make videos about, and the iPhone Air is a very interesting and nice phone. I just prefer the size and cameras on the Pro, so it's gonna be my daily driver for the time being, but I still want to test out the Air and see what does a real day in the life look like. Specifically, does the battery actually last a full day of use, taking photos and so on? Now, I got the Air in Space Black, which looks phenomenal, but Apple took it away from me on the Pro. I do think the silver color, especially in the duotone design, looks good, but it completely fucks the all black EDC I've been going for. As a small remedy, I do have a leather case from Grams 28, and that's really nice, but I've been a caseless phone user for the last couple of years, and there's just something about that I prefer. Sure, you have the risk of breaking your phone, but it feels like such a shame to hide what, as Alia would say, feels like a piece of jewelry. Putting that aside though, the iPhone is a little more exciting this year. The 16 series was a massive disappointment. I've never once used camera control in real life, and Apple Intelligence is a joke. This year isn't huge, but I dig the design of the camera bar. The triple 48 megapixel camera lens looks great, and the square front selfie camera means you can take super wide selfies without having to rotate your camera, though this is a feature only beneficial if you have friends. One of the last noticeable improvements is the brighter screen, which outside can reach 3000 nits of peak brightness. I live in a very sunny area, so if I'm looking at my phone while on a walk, even in direct sunlight, I have no issues viewing it. By the way, if you're wondering where I got my iPhone wallpapers, they're a part of my Kiwi wallpaper pack, which I'll leave a link to in the description. Now, one of my most used MagSafe accessories is this wallet from Satechi. I used to carry around and really like this leather coach wallet, and I know a lot of you would ask me questions whenever I showed it off. That said though, having to bring this with me when I never use cash and most of the time I'm just using 1 or 2 cards, it doesn't make sense. This MagSafe wallet lets me carry my driver's license along with 3 cards so that I always have what I need without taking up much space. This thing has gotten a lot of love and is borderline falling apart, but after buying 2 phones this year, I'd rather save the expense. Now, on my wrist at all times is this Orient Kamasu watch, and it's my favorite watch I've ever owned. It's a very high quality mechanical watch, and I got it for only about $300. I'll leave the Amazon link in the description in case you want to check it out. Orient is a pretty well respected brand in the watch community, and when I was looking to buy my first budget mechanical watch a couple years ago, this is one a lot of people recommended. This one is silver, but I also have a black version somewhere in my apartment. I just haven't dug it up. I wouldn't really consider myself a watch guy yet, but I can still appreciate a nice piece and just like the way this feels and looks on my wrist. At some point, I'll probably spend more money, maybe when we get that silver plaque, but for now, I'm very happy with the Kamasu. Now, my MacBook is by far my favorite piece of tech. This is the 14-inch M4 Max MacBook Pro in Space Black. It's a beast. I used to have a 16-inch MacBook, and while I loved the extra screen real estate, it was such a pain to carry around, especially while I was still in college and had to bring that into class. The 14 is just much more reasonable for daily use. It easily slips in my bag. I can use it wherever I want, even in the car, and it works really well. I do kind of regret getting the Max chip. It's very powerful, but in this 14-inch chassis, it drains the battery so much quicker and can get quite hot. So with that said, if you are looking to get a 14-inch MacBook, I'd highly recommend you get the Pro chip. That's still very powerful, and if you just bump the RAM, you'll have a very smooth experience regardless of your workflow. It's tough because this is such a good machine. I've tried both game development in Unreal and 3D modeling in Blender, both of which it handled super well, but that's not something I do frequently enough. And honestly, with as good of a PC build as I have, that's where most of that work would get done. These days, I don't even edit my videos anymore, so most of my work on here is just programming, which does benefit from the increased RAM I have, but it's not actually that power hungry. At this point, I really just like things like the ProMotion display that only the MacBook Pros have. Now, when I'm coding for my startup, I like to use AI tools to help me implement new features or fix bugs faster. The problem with this though is if you aren't careful, you can end up writing a lot of bad code that you don't understand and can have critical security issues or bugs that will just break the system. I've been a huge fan of AI code review since I first experimented with it a few months ago, because especially as a solo developer, it's really great at catching small issues I never would have noticed otherwise. CodeRabbit, who is sponsoring today's video, is a tool I've used personally before we even started working together, and they just recently released their CLI tool that brings AI code review directly to your terminal. You can perform self-reviews before you even commit or create create a PR. The best part about the CLI is you can use their free tier and have completely free reviews that give you senior level advice well before you get ready to merge that code into production. You'll get immediate feedback on your staged or unstaged commits, and CodeRabbit will find logical errors in your code and suggest a solution. I've been improving the short links in my app Creator Kiwi so that you can now connect a custom domain and import your existing links from other link shorteners. In my unstaged commits, I had added a new integration type for Dub, which is the previous link management tool I used, and CodeRabbit caught that I wasn't handling Dub as a new valid integration type. It also caught that I had a bad copy-pasted button that still had an old ARIA label that didn't make sense for this newer button. CodeRabbit can suggest code to fix these issues, but also give a prompt for AI agents to implement the fix. Another really interesting use case of the CodeRabbit CLI is telling an agent like Cursor or Claude to implement a feature, run the CodeRabbit review command, and then fix any problem it finds. I'll leave the instructions to download the CodeRabbit CLI for yourself in the description below. Whenever I'm at the gym and most of the time I'm on a walk, the AirPods Pro 3s come along with me. These just dropped alongside the iPhone, and as someone who had the AirPod Pro 2s, these have been a decent upgrade. I never had a USB-C case, so that alone has been pretty nice, but I found the fit of these to be a lot better. They feel a bit more snug in my ears. There's also been some significant improvements to noise canceling. I wouldn't say that it's night and day, but it definitely is noticeable. If I'm outside, I usually keep these in transparency mode, but just wondering how they would work. Turning on noise canceling, it's a noticeable amount quieter, but you can of course still hear cars passing by. For me though, the real value of AirPods is their convenience. I'm very lucky that I have no issues with comfort 95% of the time, and the sound quality is quite good. I can throw these in my ear and in seconds it connects to the right device so I can listen to music, an audiobook, or a podcast. Now, probably 60-70% of the time I leave the house, I throw on a hat. This is mostly because when I leave for the morning for the gym, my hair looks like I just got hit by a bus, and then later in the day, if I go on a walk, it's almost impossible to see with the sun in my eyes. I swapped through a few, but one of my favorites is this one from Warp, an AI terminal I've used quite a bit, and another I had made for Creator Kiwi, my startup that helps creators generate short links that show them which videos make them money. Now, I've been carrying around my keys on an Orbit key organizer for several years now, and I really like it. It keeps my keys from shuffling around in my pockets, and the black leather design looks sleek. Now, my Steam Deck isn't something that I really carry around every day, but if I travel, I'll throw it into my bag. Really, I just want an excuse to talk about this because I haven't in a while. This is the OLED version, so games look really good out here, even at the 800p resolution. I have this sick clear back case on it that shows the internals of the system. I've tried a few other gaming handhelds, but the Steam Deck is by far my favorite because it's just comfortable in the hand. I like the way the handles wrap around your hands, and all of the buttons feel good to press. For the most part, I use my deck to play through my huge backlog of indie story games. Most recently, I've been playing Easy Delivery Co., which is this super cozy delivery simulator. As I just mentioned, whenever I travel, I throw the deck in its original carrying case into my backpack from TomTalk. I've been using this bag for 1 or 2 years now, and it's treated me well. It has a very minimal design with a large main compartment, along with a laptop compartment that has a padded section to protect my MacBook. There's also space to fit an iPad, though I use it so little I won't even mention it today. The front compartments give you extra space to fit things like an external hard drive, power bank, and other small accessories. The bag is comfortable to wear and has held up well over these last couple years. So that's what my EDC is looking like for fall 2025. Let me know down below what your favorite piece was. If you enjoyed this video, you'll want to watch this one next, where I go over my dream hybrid Mac and PC setup. Thanks for watching, and take care.